about to dig into the top 5 untold gangster stories of all time. Stick around, hit the notification. Here we go.
Everyone knows Al Capone. Everyone knows Escobar. Everyone knows El Chapo. But what about the men and women who ruled in silence? No flashy headlines, no Netflix specials, no mugshots, just whispers of power. Today we uncover the untold stories of the most powerful gangsters you've never heard of. People so dangerous, entire governments tried to erase their names.
But now you come to me to say, Don Corleone, give me justice.
This is the most dangerous untold gangsters of all time, where we bring you the stories others are too afraid to tell. Subscribe, hit the bell, and join us as we explore the hidden empire of the forgotten kings and queens of crime. In the 1970s, Interpol had a name they whispered, Georg Bergen. Some called him a weapons broker, others, a ghost. Bergen wasn't a street gangster. He didn't run nightclubs. He didn't parade in furs. He sold wars. Through a web of shell companies and offshore banks, Bergen supplied weapons to militias in Africa, guerrilla armies in South America, and even rogue elements inside European states.
I say be happy with what you got.
You'll be happy. Me,
No photographs, no fingerprints, no criminal record. He moved like smoke. Intelligence agencies knew he existed, but they never had enough to arrest him. Every time they got close, the trail vanished. Rumor has it he was tipped off by insiders at the highest levels. And then, he disappeared. No body, no obituary, nothing. Was he assassinated? Did he retire on a private island? Or is he still alive, pulling strings from the shadows? That's the question Interpol still can't answer. One officer admitted, he was the most dangerous man I ever chased because he didn't just make money, he made wars. New York in the 1920s was a battlefield of money and blood. But in Harlem, one person reigned supreme, and she wasn't Italian. She wasn't Irish. She wasn't even a man. Her name was Stephanie St. Clair, better known as Madame Queen of Harlem. She ran the numbers racket, the underground lottery that made fortunes in Harlem. She paid off cops, ran her operation with military discipline, and built political power in a city that didn't want her to succeed. But when Dutch Schultz, a brutal mobster backed by the Italian mafia, tried to take her territory, she fought back. Not with guns, but with brains. She exposed police corruption in newspapers. She outmaneuvered Schultz at every turn, and when he tried to kill her, she survived. In a world where women weren't supposed to lead, St. Clair not only led, she dominated. Her name should be as famous as Capone or Luciano, but history buried her. Because she didn't fit the gangster stereotype. She wasn't just a criminal, she was a strategist, a queenpin in a world of kings. Before World War II, Los Angeles had a quiet criminal underworld few talk about today. It wasn't the Italians, it wasn't the Irish, it was the Issei, first-generation Japanese immigrants. They controlled gambling houses, protection rackets, and loan shark networks hidden inside community businesses. They didn't flaunt their power. They operated in silence, under the cover of respectability. But then came Pearl Harbor, and in an instant their empire was shattered. The US government sent Japanese families into internment camps. The quiet Yakuza bosses were swept up with them. Their networks collapsed, their names erased. When people talk about organized crime in America, they never mention the Japanese bosses who ran Los Angeles before the war. But they were real, and they were powerful. Their erasure shows how history isn't just about who won, but about who gets remembered. In the 1980s, while Pablo Escobar made headlines in Colombia, another kingpin quietly ruled the routes through Central America. His name, or at least his nickname, was El Silencioso, the Silent One. He controlled cocaine shipments moving through Guatemala. His genius was staying invisible. He didn't appear in photos. He never gave orders in public. He used lawyers, middlemen, and politicians as shields. DEA reports mentioned him dozens of times, but they couldn't prove he existed. No arrest, no trial, not even a wanted poster. To this day, his true identity remains a mystery. Some say he was a powerful businessman hiding in plain sight. Others believe he was several men working under one name, but one thing is certain, Without El Silencioso, Escobar's empire would have collapsed. He was the silent pipeline that kept the cocaine flowing north. And yet, while Escobar's face is on every documentary, El Silencioso is barely a footnote. That's how good he was. The 1990s were bloody in the Balkans. Wars tore apart Yugoslavia. And in the chaos, a new kind of gangster rose. They weren't flashy dons in suits. They were warlords, smugglers, and ex-soldiers who built what became known as the Balkan Ghost Network. They controlled heroin pipelines into Western Europe. They trafficked weapons across borders. They laundered millions through banks in Cyprus and Switzerland. Unlike the Italian mafia, they weren't bound by tradition. Unlike the cartels, they weren't chasing fame. They thrived in chaos. And chaos was everywhere. European police called them ghosts because they were impossible to track. Kill one, and another rose. Shut down one route, and two more opened. Today, their descendants still control parts of the European underworld. But most people outside the region have never heard their names. Because ghosts don't make the news. They haunt it. Georg Bergen, the man who sold wars. Stephanie St. Clair, the queen pin erased from history. The Issei Yakuza, forgotten by America's memory. El Silencioso, the kingpin with no face. And the Balkan ghosts, who thrived in chaos. 5 stories, 5 empires, all untold. They prove one thing: the most powerful gangsters weren't always the loudest. They were the ones who stayed in the shadows. If you want part 2, where we reveal even more hidden figures of the underworld, drop a comment below. Which gangster shocked you the most? Make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video if you believe these stories deserve to be heard. Because history only remembers the legends, but we remember the ghosts.